Hi, my name is Bobby Bass. I'm with Schwarzkopf Professional. I'm really excited to be here with you today to share with you everything that we have to offer to you, the colorist. As an industry leader, we strive to maintain the highest standard in excellence to continue to provide you with the best product to ensure your success behind the chair. One of the things that I personally like to start off my classes with is just a review of the law of color. To truly understand the foundation of our color, it's important to understand how color relates to each other. So that way, as a colorist, we can formulate with the best options that we have out there. So I have a couple of visuals for you. This visual is a visual of our primary colors. So here you can see that we have yellow, red, and blue. These are our three primary colors that cannot be created by mixing anything else together. By taking our primary colors and mixing them together in equal proportions, we create what we call secondary colors. So by mixing our red and our yellow together, we create orange. Our red and blue create violet, and our blue and yellow will create green. So from here, this creates what we call our color wheel. So this is a basic version of the color wheel. You can see we have our primary colors of yellow, blue, and red. And then in between, we have our secondary colors of orange, green, and violet. So the basic law of color would be everything on the color wheel, what is directly across from each other would neutralize that color. So in hair color, neutralizing would be to try to achieve a neutral tone. So yellow and violet mixed together would create your neutral tone. Blue and orange together would create a neutral base, and green and red mixed together would create a neutral tone. So this is how we would use the law of color when neutralizing in hair color. So to take that a step further, we've created this color wheel for you that you can use. It's a little more detailed, so that way as a colorist behind the chair, we have tools that can help make our job easier and make us successful. So you can see we still have our primary colors of yellow, blue, and red, and then we also have our secondary colors of our violet, green, and orange, and everything works in a scale around that wheel. So we're not always going to be mixing things in perfect proportions. So you can see that everything just works in a scale and lives somewhere along that color wheel. So what we have done is in the color wheel, we have taken all of our color families and placed them on there for you to see, so you truly have a strong understanding of where that color lies on the color wheel. So you can see here on the green, we have 4-13. I know that's a little hard for you to see, but when you look at it closely, 4-13 is listed here at this green base very close to the inside. So that tells us that it's a level 4, so it's a pretty dark color. It has a pale blue, violet, green base. So it's in this green color family, so it's a pretty high concentration of that green, so it's going to be a very strong green neutralizing tone. So I can use this chart to visit any of my underlying pigments and see what would live directly across to help me neutralize out that tone. We've also provided for you a underlying pigment chart that will help us know what lives in the hair naturally at each level, and it'll also help us with pre-pigmenting back to a natural level. So you can see over here, we start with a natural level 1 at the bottom, and you can see at a natural level 1, we have a very strong red underlying pigment. So we work all the way up through all of our levels, all the way up to a level 10, where at level 10, it's going to give us a very soft yellow or a gold underlying pigment. So when you're using your underlying pigment chart, everything again here is going to work on a scale all the way from that really strong red underlying pigment up to that softest pale yellow. So we can see wherever our client lies naturally, we can determine what lives in the hair. So if my client comes in and she's a natural level 5, we'll say, I can see we have a pretty strong orange underlying pigment at a natural level 5. If her goal is to lift and neutralize and be completely neutral as possible, then I could come over here on my color wheel, find that really strong orange underlying pigment, work directly across, and I can see that I would want something with blue in it to help neutralize her out. So basically the color wheel is going to give me the answers that I need as a colorist to help achieve that neutralization when I'm lifting and trying to neutralize. It'll also help me as a colorist when I need to replace that pigmentation in the hair. You can see our pre-pigmentation or our underlying pigment, whichever way you look at it. This chart is going to tell me what I need to replace in the hair as well. So if my client comes in and say she's a platinum blonde and she wants to go back to that natural level 5, I can see that I need to replace that strong orange underlying pigment into the hair. And if I come over here to the orange, it tells me what I can use to do so. So I'm never left without knowing what to use in the hair when. So I can use this to help neutralize by using the colors that are across from each other to help complement that color. Or I can use it to understand what to replace back into the hair to replace a underlying pigment or that strong pheomelanin in the hair to support the basis of my hair color. So there's a lot of different things that you can use this color wheel for, but you can see that any color that we will create or that we can think of, it's all gonna lie somewhere here on the color wheel. So it just gives you a great visual of understanding where does that color lie. Is it a violet, but maybe a violet that lives a little bit closer to the blue? Or maybe it's a violet that lives a little closer to the red, making it a stronger red violet. So it's always good to understand the color wheel, where colors lie, and if we're neutralizing, what I would need that would be directly across to help properly neutralize that color. Or maybe I want to support that color, and what color families would help support at that level or help replace at that level. So it gives you a great tool to help when formulating, help when neutralizing, that it just gives us a great support as a colorist to help us formulate for our clients. So I hope that recap helped just refresh the law of color and how to neutralize, what to choose when neutralizing, or even when pre-pigmenting or filling the hair back to a proper state to help support the color. It's the foundation of all of our colors, and it's always important to understand how that color really does relate to each other when formulating. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you again that you choose Schwarzkopf Professional for all of your color needs. And I hope you enjoy our next segment where we really actually get into the color and we just share with you everything that we have to offer to you, the colorist, to make you the best colorist out there.